All right, Dynamic Discussions recap and review of episode 4 with The Bad Ben. That is part of Ben's email. I'm not going to give you the rest of the email. I just thought that was kind of funny and kind of cool, so that's why it is entitled The Bad Ben. So Ben was kind enough to share his story with us. He had an incredible transformation. He started at about 270 pounds and made it all the way down to around 184. One of the quotes that I got from our chat was, "Count the chips," which I think is so accurate. It's kind of funny, but it's also incredibly true and accurate. How many of us, if we're having chips and salsa, for example, how many of us are going to sit down with the bag of chips and maybe a bowl of salsa, and we're going to just mindlessly continue to eat more and more chips? Before we know it, we've eaten like half the bag or even more. We have no clue how many servings of chips we've actually eaten. So one of the methods that Ben adopted was looking at the back of the bag of chips to see how many chips were in a serving, and he would then count the chips until he had 1 or 2 servings, and then put the bag of chips away, which is an incredible method that we should probably all try to do a little bit more so we can accurately consume portion sizes. All right, we'll get into it. So a little bit of background information. Ben he is a traveling salesman, so he's on the road a lot, and it's pretty challenging to control nutrition on the road. You are kind of at the mercy of, whatever you drive by for food. It's challenging to control nutrition. You can't really meal prep and bring those meals along with you. It's just not very realistic. And when Ben started thinking about his weight, it was around the time when his friend had a weight loss surgery. So that this got Ben's weight on his mind, so he started thinking about it more. And his wife started going to Dynamics, training with Jill, and Ben joined once per week. He also started weighing himself once per week, which I think is a very smart method, to do it once per week on the same day of the week, or to weigh yourself every single day. Take the average of 1 week and then compare that average to the average of the next week. I don't think that you should necessarily compare weight day to day, because it just fluctuates so much in a single day, but also day to day weight will fluctuate a lot. So if you compare week to week, you'll get a better idea on the true trajectory of where your weight is headed. So Ben is training once per week. He's weighing himself. He also started intermittent fasting. When he was fasting intermittently, he was losing about 2 to 2.5 pounds per week, which is pretty quickly. But he realized it's not necessarily for him, and he ended up switching to MyFitnessPal. Shout out MyFitnessPal if you want to sponsor us. I'm all ears. He switched to MyFitnessPal. He tracked for 3 weeks without changing anything, which I think is a great idea, so you can get an idea on where you are. Then you have a better idea on what you need to change or what you even can change. When he was tracking, he found out that he was around 3,500 to 4,000 calories per day. And even for a guy as tall as Ben, who's about 6'2", that's a lot of calories. So MyFitnessPal got him on a 2,500 to 2,600 calorie per day intake. And one of the methods Ben was using to stay at that calorie intake, he committed to drinking a gallon of water every single day and eating a salad every single day, whether it was for lunch or dinner or whatever. Because eat a salad, so long as you don't go overboard on the dressing, it's going to fill you up fairly well if it's a big salad, but it also isn't going to be very calorically dense. So drinking water and having a salad. He also mentioned how he stopped drinking orange juice because OJ is also fairly calorically dense. Doing all of those made it a lot easier for him to get that 2,500 to 2,600 calorie intake per day. And through this 25 to 2,600 calorie intake and the one training session per week, Ben lost about 60 pounds, which is fairly remarkable. About 60 pounds almost through nutrition alone. That is very remarkable and powerful to know what nutrition is capable of. And then in comes the pandemic. With the pandemic, Ben gets furloughed and he has a lot more time on his hands. So he starts training at home basically every day. And then he loses about 15 to 20 more pounds. And when I asked Ben what the greatest benefit to this transformation was, he mentioned how he just feels like himself again, and he now is life-proof. That's the term that I really like using. He doesn't have to worry about going out and doing stuff because he is capable to do that. Before, he would have gotten tired. His body his feet or knees might have bugged him from carrying around the extra weight, but not anymore because he became life-proof. And then I asked Ben what his biggest advice might be. And he said a couple different things. Excuse me. He said, control portion sizes and environment. Basically, controlling portion sizes is what Ben did to lose about 60 pounds. He didn't change his diet a ton other than making sure to get a salad every day. It was mostly portion sizes that he changed. And controlling the environment, because when you are in certain environments, you are going to do particular habits that might not necessarily align with your goals. But if you can control the environment so that it doesn't clash with those goals, then you are much more likely to succeed. For example, going out for drinks with friends or something, I know that Uber is fairly accessible to everybody, but you could always offer to be the designated driver, and then you won't have to worry about, I want to drink because I'm hanging out with my friends, but I don't want to drink because it doesn't align with my goals. I don't know what to do. That's clash. So controlling your environment, saying, hey, listen, guys or gals, friends, I'm going to be the designated driver tonight, so I'm not worried about not drinking tonight. I'm happy to take one for the team. But really, you're taking one for yourself. It's kind of a selfish reason. But anyways, so he said portion sizes and environment. He also said read and learn as much as you can, which I think is great advice. There is so much stuff out there. It can be challenging to know what is right or what is helpful, but the more you know, the more you read, the more likely you are to get a better understanding of what is actually true, which I think is truly great advice. And Ben also said, find some friends to go through this journey with. He said if you find 2 friends to do it with, at least one will stick with you, which is probably accurate. So control portion sizes and environment, read and learn, find some friends or family members or whoever to help you along in the journey. All right, so that was Ben's whole transformation. Seriously incredible. And this was Dynamic Discussions Recap and Review, Episode 4. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.